Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Maypole Farm. But before that, this video is brought to you by Patrick Coinier and Paul Nadon Jr. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Maypole Farm map has finally been released, and you're going to be able to download it over at the Giants Mod Hub or the in-game downloadable content menu. This map is released for all platforms as of the 1.0 release, and we're looking at a map size of 417 megabytes in size. Let me read you some of the description. Welcome to Maypole Farm. This is a fictional Irish map that offers a vast amounts of forestry as well as arable farming with multiple farms spread around the map for those of you who like to spread out or play in multiplayer. Farmyards are fully customizable, so you can demolish all sheds and barns, cut away all hedges, trees, and remove all the walls, fences, and gates. There are 128 viable fields on the map that all include missions and 7 unique farms. This map has 117 fields of all shapes and sizes. There are apple trees scattered around the map on various viable plots. If you cut those, then it will remove various objects to free up the land in order to place things yourself. This map does have cuttable hedges as well as cuttable barbed wire fences. So if you own the land that these hedges or fences are on, if you cut the posts that are in the hedges and fences, then sections will be cleared away. Most production chains from the base game are also spread around the map. There are 7 farms, 6 have livestock, and the 7th is arable. They're all fully customizable in a modular setup, giving you the opportunity to expand your farm when you're ready to work with these animals, meaning that you can buy the farmland, and then if you want to buy the cow pasture that is associated with that farmland, you can, or you could just leave it unowned at the start. This map has 25 collectibles. They are the glowing orbs that were on Hutan Pantai. There are several large forests on the map. Free water can be obtained from the lake in the south center of the map. All products can be sold at multiple outlets. When buying your factories, you also gain the land that the factories are on, and this is the same with respect to the biogas plant. Customizable animal pens have been added with working gates. Many sheds in order to be placed down, all base game textures, some new fill types, as well as some new products modified to work on these productions. All new products can be purchased or sold at the warehouse. All modified productions are available for you to place if you wish. And the AI splines have been found on the map to make it easier for hired helpers to move around. With that said, let's come back over here to the map and take a look at the PDA. Well, this is a very, very busy map. So we have our main starting farm located right here, and we do own a little bit of land just to the north of that starting farm. And then there are 6 other farms around this map and a buildable plot. With respect to if you do start this map up by owning the farm, well, the main starting farm is going to be farmland ID 120. It's going to contain most of the sheds on the farm itself, silos, fill points, and things like that, but it's not going to include the animal areas. The animal areas here are going to include a chicken coop at 144, a cow pasture at 158 and 157. We have a sheep area at farmland ID 121, and then we have horses at farmland ID 128. In addition, we do own fields 61, 62, 63, 64, and 65 at the start if we choose to own the starting farm. Should we choose not to own the farm at the start? Well, all of these farms are pre-placed. They're going to be exactly how you see them here in this video, and you'll have the opportunity to buy the farm of your choice. If you do not own the starting farm, you can buy it for $72,860, and then the various animal pens are going to be chicken coop at $3,700, cow pasture at $86,820, the other cow pasture at $76,840. We have then sheep at $67,760, and then horse barn is going to be at $26,720. As far as other buyable farmlands, well, we're going to start up here to the north. We do have the buyable buildable plot, which is going to be $132,060 to buy, and it's going to be at farmland ID 189. We also have the arable farm at farmland ID 134 for $39,200. The farmhouse for that is located right here, and it is part of 134. With respect to farmland ID 137, this is going to be a cow and pig farm. So we have farmland ID 137 for $56,680. And then we have the cow pasture, farmland ID 130 for $162,400. And then the pigs at 124 for $52,280. With respect to farmland ID 131, that is going to be a horse, chicken, and sheep farm. We can buy the main farmland for $46,320. And then we're going to be able to buy the animal areas for $27,000. Farmland ID 160, 119 for $59,800, and 159 farmland 159 for $10,820. Farmland ID 146 is going to be cow, sheep, horse, and chicken. We're going to be buying the main farm for $122,000. And then we have the chicken coop at farmland ID 147 for $9,660. We have cows at $65,900, farmland ID 149, 148 for $46,840. And then we have farmland ID 127 for $127,699. We have farmland ID 140. That is going to be a pig, horse, and sheep farm. So we can buy the main farm for $73,900. We have a pig area for $61,539 at farmland ID 141. We have cows at farmland ID 139 for $199,380. And then we have farmland ID 126 for $107,160, and farmland ID 138 for $23,920. Then we have the last farm that is available to us at farmland ID 123. That is going to be cow, sheep, horse, chicken, and pig. So you can buy the main farm for $91,720. We have them farmland ID 151 for $63,339. Farmland ID 150 for $94,180. We have farmland ID 154 for $74,560. Farmland ID 153 for $49,620. And then we have farmland ID 152 for $4,480. That's all of the different farms that we can buy, their locations on the PDA, and their corresponding animal pastures that are also tied to those areas. When we come back to those, we'll have already purchased all of these farmlands, so we can see all the triggers and such when we get around to looking at all the various farms. With respect to our precision farming soil map, this map does have a custom soil map. We can see that with respect to the main starting area, the fields that we own at the start are going to be a mix of sandy loam, and silty clay. We've got a little bit of loamy sand scattered around. A lot of the areas here to the south are going to be sandy loam, as well as to the east. And then a lot of the land to the north is going to be a mix of silty clay and loam. We do have our standard FS25 crop counter available to us on this map. And if I didn't already mention it, we do have all the standard crops available to us in FS25 on this map as well. With respect to animals, at our starting farm, we have the sheep, cow barn with feeding robot, chicken coop. We've got another feeding robot cow barn, and then we have a horse barn. Again, all of these areas can be sold if you own the corresponding pasture. If you do select to own the farm at the start, then you do own the corresponding pasture. If you select to not own it at the start, then you'll have to buy it. With respect to contracts, we do have contracts available to us on this map, including the new transport contracts like wood transport, stone crushing, and dead trees. We take a look at our available productions. We have a total of 14 productions on this map, including the biogas plant. We do not own any at the start. Some of these productions do have custom products in them, like broche, which is going to require sunflower oil, flour, eggs, milk, sugar, chocolate, yeast, and water. We also have cookies, dough, donut, pancake, pizza, sandwich, and waffles, all available at the bakery. We have our BGA, and we will be able to transport methane here at the BGA. More on that in a little bit. We have our carpentry, our cement factory. We have our cereal factory. We also have our dairy, and at the dairy, we're also going to be able to produce soy milk and yogurt. We have then our grain mill, where we're going to be able to make corn flour as well as soy flour. We have our grape processor, our oil mill, where we can make soybean oil. We have our potato processing plant, where we're going to be able to make potato chips from sunflower oil, olive oil, canola oil, and soybean oil. We have our sawmill. We have spinnery. We have our sugar mill, and of course our tailor. With respect to hand tools, we do not have any hand tools at the start. I counted up about 5 unique sell points scattered around the map. That is classifying all of the sell points at the animal dealer as one. We also then will have buy points scattered around the map as well. We do have those 25 collectibles, although this is showing 50. They're going to be the glowing orbs, and I'll show you where at least one of those are right here at the start. Now, with respect to our starting fleet, if you do own the farm, then you will have starting machinery. If you do not own the farm, then you will not have any starting machinery. We have start out with the AgroStar 831 medium tractor. We have the Lintrac 130 small tractor, perfect for these small yards because it has 4-wheel steer. We also have the Lizard Dragon truck. We have the front loader bale spikes, and we have the front loader arms in the Q4M. We have our DK 280 RP Rudolph trailer. That is going to be a dolly trailer. We've got the POV 5XL plow. We have the Agromaz Aquila Drive 400 seeder. The Massey Ferguson 8570 harvester, grain header, and header trailer. We have the Semez KDF 341S front mower and XT 390 trailed side mower. The Semez Z2 840H windrower, and the Semez P8 890 tedder, as well as the Dalbo Max Roll 630 Green Line grass roller. We have our John Deere C44 1R round baler with wrapper combination, and then we wrap it up with the HMZ 340 3000. This is going to be a really interesting 3-point hitch attachment that will basically convert any tractor into a big forklift. And then we have the Stempa Truss small trailer. So all of that is going to be our starting equipment. With respect to mods and DLCs, if we check it out, we do have 3 trailers available that are custom with this map. We have the FST 990. It typically is going to be a fuel transport trailer, but it's also been equipped to transport energy and methane. Then we have the MKS 8 and MKS 32, and these have been also set up to transport methane fuel, as well as our herbicide, liquid fertilizer, water, our cow and goat milk. Now, with respect to where might you find one of these glowing orb collectibles? Well, right here at the shop, right there at the corner. There you go. That's your freebie, everybody. So here we have our dealer service trigger. And then we have our actual dealer trigger located around the side. Let's just go ahead and buy something. We can see where things spawn at. Let's pick up this new car. So there you go. A pretty decent sized area for vehicles and implements to spawn. Given the size of this map and given the narrowness of the roads, I would say this is a very generous spawn point, and we're going to have to get everything outside of these walls and then transport them down these roads. We're just going to turn in right here to our main starting farm. And find our way over here to the farmhouse. I'll show you where we are at this point. So the shop was right here, and we've now made our way over to here. And this is where we're going to start taking a look at the main starting farm. So we do have our sleep trigger and our wardrobe trigger here at the farmhouse. We have our chicken coop. Again, we will have to buy this if we don't already own the farm at the start. We're going to have 881 chickens available in this coop. We have our food trigger there. And I wanted to show you real quick what we're talking about with respect to the cuttable apple trees before we get too far into this. And there isn't an apple tree here at the starting farm, but we do have a cuttable apple tree right over here by this other farm. So while we are here, let's go ahead and buy farmland ID 184. Very, very affordable. And what do we have here? Well, we've got a house. We've got a little play thing. Oh. And we have a swing set. Just off the road. Well, we also have a apple tree. And you'll find these little apple trees scattered around on various plots of land that are very small that you can buy. And if we happen to have a chainsaw, like this fine still, and we come over here and we slice this tree down, chop down not the cherry tree but the apple tree. Now you'll notice, well, all that is gone. Right, so if you want to have additional buildable areas for small things, well, you can find these little small plots of land scattered around. There's another one, and then you cut the tree down, and then the various things on that plot of land will go away. Let's make our way back over here to our starting farm location. Around the side of our eggs, right? We have our eggs here. We have one of our cow pastures with feeding robot. So we have our mineral feed, silage, straw, hay fill points there for our automated robot. We have our slurry point. This particular cow pasture will hold 639 cows. We have our food and straw, of course, here in the middle of the shed. We have our buy point for our cows. And, of course, our milk trigger. We have storage for our liquid fertilizer. We have our manure heap. And also we have a silo to store our seed or mineral feed. We have bale and pallet storage here at the farm as well for 250 bales or pallets. We have a storage silo for solid fertilizer. We have our secondary feeding robot cow building. So again, we have our manure. This one's going to be ready to go for 529 cows. We have our milk there. Of course, our food and straw in the side. We have our farm silo. We have our filling robot, our feeding robot fill points. Then we have our slurry around the side. some machine sheds. We have our sheep and goat pasture. We're going to be able to have 477 sheep or goats. We have our feed trough. We have our milk and wool spawn point there as well. We have our horse pasture. Of course, if you don't want horses, you can just sell it. We're equipped with 16 horses here as well, with our food and straw triggers right there. All of these pastures have usable gates and fences. We have a 3-sided silage bunker here as well. Then all of our fields, or most of our fields that we own, we can access through that road, or we're going to access them back here just beside the horse area. And that's kind of a quick run through of our starting farm here. Now, just like we did earlier, I want to go ahead and make my way to the north. And I've already purchased all of the farmlands that we're going to be talking about and looking at next. So here we have the buyable, buildable plot. That's going to be farmland ID 189. Pretty nice sized area here with a bit of forest close to it. Just down the road from that, we're going to have our farmhouse, which is tied to farmland ID 134, which is going to be our arable farm. So we have our sleep and wardrobe trigger here. So we had a little bit of olives in behind that area. Our arable farm, we have our entrance here. We do have just some equipment sheds. We have a fuel point. We have liquid fertilizer, solid fertilizer. And then we have our farm silo. Storage also here for seed or mineral feed. Then that's going to be the arable farm. Right down the road from that. Well, that's going to be our cow and pig farm. So let's come down to the ground. Right inside, we have seed and fertilizer storage. We have a 3-point silage bunker there, a 3-sided bunker. To the left, we have our farm silo. And further around the right, of course, we have our sheds. We have fuel point. We have our liquid fertilizer storage. Then we have another feeding robot here. So we have our slurry point. Mineral feed. We have all of our feed triggers there for the robot. This particular cow pasture is going to be good for 1,662 cows. Of course, we have our food and straw here in the middle. $1,662 cows. And we have our milk trigger. Let's make our way around our hedge here. If you are playing on PC and you do want to put more animal buildings down, or you delete one, like for example the horse at the starting farm, you will need the more husbandries mod, because we have way more animal husbandries pre-placed than the standard base game limit. If you are on console and you want to build out a farm with more animal husbandries, you're going to be stuck until you buy the animal husbandries that are on the map and get yourself down to a level below 10. At that point, you will be able to put more down, because the limit is going to be 10 animal husbandries. We have bale and pallet storage for 250 bales or pallets. Solid fertilizer. We have our pig slurry point here. Then on the other side, of our bale and pallet point. We have a manure heap for our pigs. We have our pig food, and then we have our pig buy point for 1,629 pigs. And then we've just got a few sheds here as well. That's going to be the cow and pig farm. We have our supermarket sell point here. We have a church located there. And then if we just go right toward the middle of the map from the church, we've got the next farm we're going to be talking about. This is going to be horse, chicken, and sheep. Just trying to figure out where the entry lane to that farm is going to be, but let's just make our way down here. We do have a farmhouse, which is going to be this little trailer. So we have our sleep and wardrobe trigger there. Very, very large chicken coop. In fact, we're talking about 3,076 chickens here. So we have our eggs. Our delivery point, and then our food drop off for our eggs. We have liquid fertilizer storage, machine sheds. We have a horse barn for another 16 horses. Of course, our food trough there. Solid fertilizer. We have our farm silo around the side of this shed here. Seed or mineral food silo. Then we have our sheep or goats for 410 sheep or goats. With our food and our milk and wool point here on the side. We have our fuel trigger, and there you go. That's going to be the sheep, horse, and pig farm, or chicken farm. Show you where we are now on the PDA. So we make our way to the southwest corner of the map. And that's going to be cows, sheep, horses, and chickens. We have our entry point here. We have our farmhouse just removed a little bit. And again, we could buy this land here. We could cut the tree down right there. And then we would have all that cleared away that we could put additional things down should we so wish. Directly to our left, we have our liquid storage for our liquid fertilizer. And here we're going to have another horse pasture for another 16. I think this map would be ideal for multiplayer because we do have 7 farms and a building site. So you can have all 8 farm yards available to you and used up. So we have our food there. We have a pull-through silage bunker. Fuel point to the right as we come in. We have our silo to the right as well as we come in. Bale and pallet storage all the way back here. Seed and mineral feed. We have our solid fertilizer storage. And then we have our cow barn. So we have our milk point here. We're going to be good for 1,141 cows at this barn. Our manure heap. Of course, we're going to feed and straw inside. And our slurry point is going to be, of course, around this side over here. We've got our sheep and goats. So we have our wool, we have our milk, we have our food, and we're good for 807 sheep or goats here. We have our chickens. So we're good for 2,599 chickens. And we have our food, and we have our eggs, of course. Around there. And that's going to be the cow, sheep, horse, chicken farm. Horse, chicken, sheep. Yeah, horse, chicken, sheep, and cows are here. We make our way along the south toward the middle of the map. We, of course, have our water point. And then just north of the water point, we have another possible player farm. This is going to be very much predominantly a pig farm. In fact, let's just start here at this point. So we have our food. We have our delivery point for our pigs. 1,823 pigs are going to be able to be kept here. That'll keep you busy with your arable farming. Of course, we have our manure heap, our slurry point for our pigs. Lots of machine sheds, bale storage, really whatever you want to make use of. We have our farm silo, bale and pallet storage right on the other side of our farm silo. We have a fuel there. Here we're going to have our horses. No, sheep. 936 sheep or goats. Right, we have our food. We have our milk. We have liquid and solid fertilizer storage. We have another sheep and goat area. 2,483. So if you want to do sheep or goats, this is going to be the farm for you because it's already set up for pretty big sheep and goat operation. And around the back of our bale and pallet storage, we have our horses for 16 of them. Mineral feed and seed storage. And there we're back to our manure heap. And then the final playable farm that we're going to be talking about is over here to the east. And again, this is where we bought that little plot of land right before the farm and cut the tree down. So coming up into this farmyard, we have a little bit of elevation change. We have our feed for our sheep. And this farm is going to be pig, horse, no. This farm's going to be cow, sheep, horse, chicken, and pig. So all your animals. 540 sheep. Three-sided silage bunker. We have liquid and solid fertilizer storage. It's going to be our chicken coop. Your food. We have room for 1,141 chickens. Bale and pallet storage. We have our silo system here. More machine storage. We have our pigs for 2,121 pigs. We have our slurry point. We have horses over here for 16 more horses. Manure heap for our pigs. Got a bit of a buildable area here in the back of this farmyard as well. No, sorry, this is a pig area. Big old pig yard. And our cows. Don't know if we mentioned our cows yet, but we've got our slurry point. We have our feeding robot. So we have our mineral feed, silage, straw, and hay. Around the side, we do have our manure heap. Feed trough in the middle. 712 cows here. Or water buffalo. And of course, our milk trigger. We have the fuel point. We have seed and fertilizer. Seed and mineral feed. And there you go. That's going to be the last playable farm. So if we take a look again where we are on the map, we're right over here at this point. Then we were taking a look at this farm. We had the farm in the extreme southwest corner. This farm in a little bit from the church. We had our arable farm at the top. We had our farm plot where we could build out things. So we had this farm here. And then our main starting farm there. So lots of farms. They're well spread out. I think this map would be excellent for multiplayer. And with that, let's just quickly shoot back over here to our starting farm location. And now we're going to take a look at where the various sell points and productions are located on the map. There's a lot of productions, a few sell points. So we're going to start by making our way south of the main farm to the road. And then we've already talked a bit about our dealership. Right beside the dealership, we do have a gas station. The gas station will be good for fuel, but it's also going to be a sell point as, let's say, a convenience store. Behind the gas station, well, we are going to have one of our productions. This is going to be the sugar mill. So we have our pallet spawn point, and we have our dump point there. We have our warehouse where we can sell goods as well as buy goods. And we're even going to be able to buy pallets of our new productions. For example, our sunflower oil we saw. We have our broche, we have our cookies, dough, yeast, pizza, sandwiches, soybean oil, donuts, soy oil, soy milk, waffles. You get the point. We've got our cement factory here, so we have our pallet spawn point. We have our dump point for our cement inputs. Right down the road a little bit, we're going to find more of these little plots that we can buy and clear away, right? But we do have the biogas plant. And here at the biogas plant, it's kind of an interesting setup. We have a 3-sided silage bunker, and that is going to be farmland ID 193. So we can buy that for $6,820 and then make use of it. And then we're going to need to buy the BGA for $942 or $962,000. Once we do, we'll own the biogas plant. We have our dump points there for our 2 digesters. We have our dump point there for our slurry. And then we have our pickup point for our digestate around the back. A little shed here for our BGA machinery. We've got the farm that we looked at last. But if we continue down the road, we're going to come over here to our preserved foods factory. Or is this our potato chip place? This is our potato chip. Spud nuts. So we have our dump point, pallet point, and interactive icon there. Down the road a little bit more, we have our bakery with all our corresponding triggers. We come back, follow this road around. We have the vehicle shop, and we keep on keeping it on. We're going to hang a right here at the intersection, our left. And this is going to take us to our grape processor, as well as our cereal factory. Continuing down the road, we have our animal dealer. A little bit of grapes, a little bit of olives scattered around. So we have a buy point to purchase slurry, to purchase manure. We have our animal trigger right there. And then we have a sell point here at the animal dealer. Continue to make our way along this road. We have our spinnery tucked away in the woods. And then if we keep going this way, we've got that farm that we already looked at right there. And down a little bit more, we have our grape processor. I think I mentioned grapes were over here. That was mistaken. Clearly. This is not grapes. This was our grain mill, flour mill. Now we make our way back up to our intersection. Hang a left again. And then we're going to take a right. We're going to come over here to our dairy. Right next to our carpentry. And then right up the road, we've got that church we talked about. And we're going to come up to our supermarket grocery sell point here around the back. Continue to make our way up the road. We've got all that big pig and cow farm. We have the arable farm. A little bit of olives. We have our tailor shop tucked up in there. We have our oil factory right here. And then we've got our buildable plot located right there. That should pretty much be everything here on the map. Now, before we close up, I want to take a look at our animal food requirements. Just make sure those are all fairly standard. They do appear to be fairly standard. And I think we've pretty much covered what needs to be covered here with respect to Maypole Farm. I really like this map. If you're into tight, confined spaces, if you like to deal with having hedges or tree lines, fences around all your fields, well, this might be a map for you. If you do find that maybe field access is a little tight, then of course you can come up here and expand that by cutting down these hedges using your chainsaw. Just need to come up here and find a post that's in the fence line. Cut it down and presto. Right, you've now opened up the field a bit more. If you want to, I mean, you could just go on a campaign and really cut all these down. Grind down the stumps, and then you'll have, for example, you could open up this field completely and merge these together. You can also do the same thing up here where we have your barbed wire fences that might be kind of blocking your way. I'd love to know what you all think of Maypole Farm down in the comments below. Finally available. I think I was showing this map off. It feels like I was showing this map off back in February when it entered private testing. And then it's been just sitting in the Giants holding queue for a couple months. And finally it's made its way into testing and is now out again for all platforms down over at the Giants Mod Hub or the in-game downloadable content menu. Until next time, happy farming.